Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Marvel's Descendants of Gods and Demons. Chapter 51. According to the character of the Stark family, the Stark building was built into the tallest and most majestic building in the entire surrounding area. Driving along the highway, Lu Yu saw its shadow far away. After parking the car in the parking lot, Lu Yu finally breathed a sigh of relief. He has been troubled by the emergencies that have occurred one after another in the past few dozen hours, and he is afraid that another Hulk will jump out on the road, or a sky aircraft carrier will fall from the sky. Fortunately, the journey was relatively peaceful and nothing happened that Lu Yu had imagined. "Sir, who are you looking for?" The front desk of Stark Group was a very beautiful tall beauty. When she saw Lu Yu walking in and looking around for something, she took the initiative to step forward and ask. Definitely, the beauty at the front desk was not so enthusiastic towards everyone. It was mainly because she spent 3 or 4 hours every day researching famous brands that she recognized the price of the clothes Lu Yu was wearing. If her calculations were correct, even if she didn't eat or drink every day, she would have to save several years of salary to afford it. If she could be with such a man, she would be able to live the luxurious life she had always desired. Thinking of this, the beauty at the front desk showed Lu Yu a sweet smile that she was proud of. "Tell me who you want to find. I think I can help you. Tell me where the elevator is. Anyway, according to your boss's personality, his office must be on the top floor." Lu Yu is the majority shareholder of Stark Group, but he has never been to this building once. Facing the empty hall, he couldn't find his direction for a moment. Seeing the beauty at the front desk staring at him with eager eyes, Lu Yu already guessed what kind of attention this girl was paying, but unfortunately he had no interest in this beauty at the front desk. She knows too many beauties, and if compared with them, this beauty at the front desk can only be considered to be of average to lower beauty. Even Chin Gray is more attractive than her. The beauty at the front desk saw that Lu Yu was not too cold towards her, and her voice remained polite, but without the enthusiasm just now. "Mr. Stark is now preparing for the press conference later. Do you have an appointment in advance?" "It's not that I want to see him." Lu Yu frowned and said in a bad tone, "Didn't he say hello to you and say I would come to him?" This, the beauty at the front desk said a little embarrassedly. "Mr. Stark has indeed never mentioned it to us." "I can." "Excuse me." Suddenly a female voice came from far away, interrupting the beauty at the front desk. Lu Yu looked over following the voice and saw an intellectual beauty with freckles on her face hurriedly walking towards him. "Assistant to the president." The respectful address at the front desk made Lu Yu guess the identity of the visitor, who was none other than Iron Man's most beloved woman, Little Pepper. "Mr. Prince, I'm so sorry." Little Pepper stepped forward, bowed apologetically to Lu Yu, and then winked at the beauty at the front desk, who then stepped back knowingly. After walking a few meters, the beauty at the front desk turned back and took a deep look at Lu Yu. From Xiao Chili's attitude, she saw that Lu Yu was not only a rich man, but also a big shot who needed to be taken seriously by the president's assistant. She felt a little unwilling that she could not get close to Lu Yu. "It's really complicated to see your boss." Lu Yu spoke to Xiao Zhao, with a hint of sarcasm in his tone. "Can the queue reach the Statue of Liberty from here? Tony actually told me a long time ago that you would come to the company, but because I had to prepare for the afternoon press conference, I was so busy that I forgot about such an important thing." Little Pepper apologized to Lu Yu with a smile said, "I'm very sorry, this was an oversight on my part. I hope I won't make such an oversight next time I come here." Lu Yu curled her lips and said, "He is not a person without courage." Since Xiao Zhao has given him a reasonable explanation, he doesn't mind giving Xiao Zhao some face. Definitely not. Seeing that Lu Yu did not continue to embarrass herself, Xiao Zhao secretly breathed a sigh of relief and made a gesture of invitation to Lu Yu. Under the leadership of Xiao Zhao, Lu Yu entered an inconspicuous elevator from a corner in the southeast of the hall. After the elevator door closed, Little Pepper pressed the top button of the elevator just as Lu Yu guessed. "I think it must be terrible to wipe Tony's butt all the time." Lu Yu took the lead in chatting with Xiao Zhao. "Have you ever considered trying another boss? I can give you twice the salary." Quote. "I haven't thought about that yet." Little Pepper smiled and politely rejected Lu Yu. "I think the current salary is just enough for me, and there is still a little left over." Quote. Xiao Zhao's answer was as expected by Lu Yu. He nodded and said, "You two are really deeply in love. I think you misunderstood." Before Little Pepper could finish her hurried explanation, the elevator stopped midway. When the elevator door opened, a short-haired girl who couldn't hide her hot figure even in a work uniform was standing outside holding several fat documents. After seeing Lu Yu, the short-haired girl's expression was slightly startled, and then she returned to normal and walked into the elevator. Looking at the short-haired girl standing in front of him, pressing the elevator floor button, Lu Yu's eyes narrowed slightly. "Natasha Romanov, how are you feeling at work these days?" Pepper asked, smiling at the short-haired girl. "Not bad. I think I'm quite suitable here." Natasha Romanov, the short-haired and rich girl, also known as Black Widow Natasha Romanov, answered Pepper with a hint of excitement, just like a newcomer entering the workplace. If Lu Yu hadn't known that she was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and was here to collect information about Tony, he wouldn't have noticed anything amiss just by looking at her performance. Anyone who can be an agent has actor-level acting skills. "Natasha Romanov," Lu Yu suddenly called out, causing the two women in the elevator to look at him. "Have you changed jobs and stopped working at the same old place?" Lu Yu smiled and extended his right hand to Natasha Romanov. "Long time no see, I think you must have forgotten me." After a pause, Lu Yu continued, "I am the little boy 8 years ago who owed you a favor." Holding Lu Yu's outstretched hand, Natasha Romanov's pupils shrank violently, and the nearly forgotten memories in her mind quickly emerged at this moment. During her usual vacation, Natasha Romanov likes to go to various chaotic places and get the information she needs from the mouths of those gangsters. That time she happened to be doing the same thing and accidentally saw a human trafficker who was about to sell the abducted little boy. Unable to bear it, she took action to deal with the traffickers. After delivering the little boy to her doorstep, the little boy's confident words left a deep impact on her. "Don't refuse. My favor will be very valuable in the future." When the little boy said these words, he was definitely not looking forward to the future or hoping for the future. He used a very certain look and tone, as if at that time, he had already seen his immeasurable future. "It's you." Natasha Romanov blurted out in extreme surprise, "You're the little boy who was tied to the bar." Even though Natasha Romanov is a well-trained agent, she lost her sense of proportion at this time. She never imagined that the target of her latest 290 mission, who was evaluated by the senior management as the highest-level dangerous person, would actually have an intersection with her when she was a child. And it seemed that the person in front of her already knew her identity at that time. "Do you really have the ability of a prophet?" Natasha Romanov couldn't help but think of the news she got from the bureau. "It seems like everyone who knows me has such fresh memories of me." Lu Yu looked at Natasha Romanov with a deep look, and said with a smile, "It's been a long time, you look really different." "Nothing has changed. You are the same, so confident." Natasha Romanov laughed and said to Lu Yu. Because she had been injected with body-strengthening agents, although her physical fitness has not reached the level of Captain America, the strengthening agent has greatly slowed down her aging rate, allowing her to have an eternally youthful appearance. "Do you know each other?" Little Pepper glanced at Natasha Romanov first, then looked at Lu Yu with a strange look in her eyes and asked. In Xiao Leijiao's heart, she already regarded Lu Yu as a playboy who was merciless ADFD, just like Tony. Lu Yu didn't understand the way Little Pepper looked at him, otherwise he would have lamented that no one who stayed with Tony for a long time could become pure. Little Pepper didn't even think about what Lu Yu could do 8 years ago when he was only 10 years old. "Well," Lu Yu gave up and deliberately prolonged his voice. Natasha Romanov held the information tightly. She was very worried that Lu Yu would suddenly reveal her identity to Xiaozhao. In that case, her mission will fail. "When I was young, I was acting foolishly and I got into a little trouble. Natasha Romanov helped me solve it." Lu Yu's words made Natasha Romanov's worries unnecessary. Preventing S.H.I.E.L.D. from investigating Tony would not be of any benefit to Lu Yu. Instead, it would have a negative impact on future cooperation with S.H.I.E.L.D. He wouldn't do such a thankless job. "I think even if I don't take action at that time, you will be able to leave safely." Natasha Romanov adjusted her mentality and returned to her calm demeanor. "Definitely." Lu Yu smiled noncommittally. At that time, the ability given by the mysterious disc in his mind had already awakened. They were just a few ordinary people. It was still very easy for him to solve the problem. But even so, what I said to you is still valid. At this moment, the elevator suddenly stopped and the elevator door slowly opened. Natasha Romanov glanced at Lu Yu with complicated eyes, walked out quickly, and disappeared into the corridor. Why don't you leave your phone number? Little Pepper said teasingly. Maybe after we have a meal together in the evening, you can tell a story. Lu Yu spread her hands and said helplessly, please believe me, this rose has a sting that bites people. The elevator reached the top floor soon. As soon as he walked into Tony's office, Lu Yu saw Tony covering his head and looking at several manuscripts on the desk with great confusion. Dong dong dong. Pepper knocked on the wall of the office a few times. Tony, Mr. Prince is here. Tony raised his head when he heard the sound, with a very forced smile on his face. My friend, I thought you would arrive later. I still have some work to do, so I'll excuse you. Xiao Zhao smiled very politely at Lu Yu, turned and left the office. Okay, you two are in a Cold War situation again with each other coming a few times a month. Lu Yu sat down on the sofa very unceremoniously and said with a gloating tone, Iron Man fans should really come and see how their idol is not going well in love or career. Is your expression as if you are constipated because of the press conference that will be held later? I really want to know if there is anything in this world that you don't know. Tony rubbed his temples with a headache, stood up and walked to the wine cabinet on the wall. Do you want something to drink? How about whiskey? Quote. Although Tony was asking for Lu Yu's opinion, he handed Lu Yu a glass of poured whiskey without waiting for Lu Yu to answer him. I have many personality flaws. After Tony took a sip of wine, he suddenly said seriously to Lu Yu, and I have also done many stupid things publicly. Puff. After hearing what Tony said, Lu Yu spit out the wine from his mouth. They just asked me to read this thing. Tony covered his head again, his tone full of annoyance. What idiot wrote this line? Lu Yu took out a few pieces of paper from the table, wiped his mouth and said to Tony, why do they have so many people? This is not the Stark I know. You seem to know me very well. Tony took a deep look at Lu Yu, and his tone gradually became serious. Let's not talk about this disgusting thing first, let's talk about business. Can you really cure me of palladium poisoning? Lu Yu once again had his characteristic smile on his face when he was fooling people. I have two options, it's up to you which one you choose. No need to guess, the two plans must have different prices, one has a very good effect, and the other has a very poor effect. Tony's mind is so smart, but he understood Lu Yu's intention in an instant, which was to blackmail him one stroke. My friend, this is definitely not how you do business. We have negotiated the terms before, haven't we? Tony frowned slightly. Obadiah's 60% shares, plus one person. Lu Yu took a sip of wine and said in a matter-of-fact tone, that's because I haven't thought of a worse plan before. This is no longer blackmail, but blatant blackmail. What else can I say? You are the most shameless person I have ever seen in my life. Tony looked at Lu Yu extremely speechless. No, saying you are shameless is simply a compliment to you. I don't want to listen to the cheap one. You know who I am, and you also know that no matter what I do, I always use the best. Tony's voice is full of arrogance. Although he has experienced metamorphosis, he still is this character. Lu Yu nodded with a smile. Tony's choice was completely within his expectation. Then in addition to the two previous conditions, I have to add one more. After a slight pause, Lu Yu continued, I want to build a biological laboratory, and the entire Stark group must fully support me in terms of personnel and technology. You are also the boss of Stark Group, there is no problem with that. Tony breathed a sigh of relief, and his tone became lighter. He originally thought that Lu Yu would ask him for the steel armor, and he was already struggling to decide. Unexpectedly, Lu Yu just made a strange request. Now that the negotiations are over, when will we start? As if he suddenly realized the ambiguity in his words, Tony quickly added, well, I meant treatment, nothing else. Although Tony was very curious as to why Lu Yu, a person who had always been hiding behind the scenes to play controlling interests, suddenly wanted to build a biological laboratory, he did not ask. For him, the most important thing now is to solve his own health problems first. In fact, Lu Yu's request was a very helpless move. A general cutting-edge laboratory may only require a small number of top personnel to operate, but the kind Lu Yu wants to build requires a lot of low-level researchers with a solid foundation. He has abundant funds but no foundation. It is simply impossible to find a large number of low-level talents in a short period of time. Originally, Osborne, a giant in biotechnology, should have been Lu Yu's best choice. But first of all, apart from holding shares, Lu Yu has no interaction with Osborne's senior management. Even the current person in charge of Osborne, the Green Goblin Norman Osborne, is not a person who can be trusted. In comparison, Tony Stark, apart from his arrogant personality, is still very good in other aspects, making him a very suitable partner for Lu Yu. Yes, they are the partners. Lu Yu plans to drag Tony, a genius in invention and creation, into his plan to deal with the mutants' doomsday at the appropriate time. We can start at any time. Lu Yu leaned back on the sofa. He couldn't wait to see Tony's wonderful expression after learning the truth about the transaction. Now please call the Bureau of Land Strategy and bring over the box your father left there. Lu Yu felt that he should be kind and let Tony solve the problem of palladium poisoning first. He knew that for someone like Tony, even if he knew the truth about the transaction, his pride would never allow him to default on his debt. I know about this organization. They have now changed their name to S.H.I.E.L.D. Tony said with a puzzled tone. Is that old guy Howard still connected with this kind of organization? In fact, your father is one of the founders of this organization, otherwise why do you think they would tolerate your nonsense? Lu Yu looked at Tony and said very seriously. He was not wrong. S.H.I.E.L.D. was extremely patient when it came to treating Tony. This is not just because of Tony's status as a super rich man, but also because Tony, as the son of the founder of S.H.I.E.L.D., has been branded S.H.I.E.L.D. from the day he was born. 0. Please give me flowers. Tisk, 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 I consider this the biggest news I've heard today. Tony responded to Lu Yu's words nonchalantly. JARVIS, put me through S.H.I.E.L.D. ... Phil Coulson came to Tony's office with the box left by Howard. After handing the box to Tony, he looked at Lu Yu sitting on the sofa with strange eyes. I think your mission is completed and you can go back. Seeing Phil Coulson standing at the door with no intention of leaving, Tony said to Phil Coulson in a very rude tone, I don't have a tip for you here. Ever since he found out about S.H.I.E.L.D.'s relationship with his father, Tony had completely lost all his goodwill towards the organization. Lu Yu couldn't help but feel a little funny on the sofa. The arrogant Tony must think that the construction of S.H.I.E.L.D. took away his father's love from him. Mr. Prince, our director asked me to bring you a message. He said he would come to visit you next week. Ignoring Tony's ridicule, Phil Coulson said to Lu Yu with an unchanging smile. I have not hidden my whereabouts. You can come to me at any time. Lu Yu narrowed his eyes and said with a smile, just prepare enough chips. Phil Coulson nodded with great satisfaction before turning and leaving. Now do as I say. Tony did not refute, and began to remove all redundant things from the map of Stark Expo in the box under the guidance of Lu Yu. 10 new elements appeared in this world. The virtual representation of the new element slowly rotated in the air, and Tony's eyes flashed as he watched this scene in shock. Tony, your father, Howard, loves you more than you think. Lu Yu said to Tony seriously. Is this the reason why you took what my father left me and used it as a bargaining chip to make a deal with me? Tony slowly turned his neck and said with a look of disbelief, oh my God, look. Come on, I still underestimated your shamelessness. Lu Yu first wrote a letter of authorization to Tony, expressing that as his majority shareholder, he would support all Tony's plans and actions on the Stark Group's board of directors. Then he signed a share transfer contract with Tony. Since Obadiah's shares had not yet been obtained, Tony first transferred an equal share of his shares to Lu Yu. During the whole process, Lu Yu kept facing Tony's livid face. Even if Tony no longer cares about money, he still feels extremely unhappy when someone uses something that originally belonged to him in exchange for shares worth billions of dollars. I swear, I will never make a second deal with you in my life. After signing the contract, Tony said to Lu Yu angrily. Although he was very unwilling in his heart, he could only knock out his teeth and swallow them in his stomach. 480. As a member of the Stark family, the pride inherited from his father prevents Tony from reneging on his debts. And Tony felt that although Lu Yu's reminder was not worth such a high price, if Lu Yu had not told him, he might have died of poisoning and would not have known that his father had not left him such a thing. Gift. Lu Yu indeed saved his life. Poor Tony didn't know that even if Lu Yu didn't tell him today, Shield would wait until he was at his most helpless and deliver the box to him later on. Now is not the time to complain about me, we should talk about the person I want. Lu Yu didn't pay attention to Tony's attitude. He had cheated Tony so hard, so what's the point of letting Tony complain about nothing? Relation. Lu Yu is a very reasonable person. Besides, it's not that Tony decided not to do business with Lu Yu in the future, he would be able to stop doing business with Lu Yu in the future. Lu Yu still has a bigger bargaining chip in his hand, which he plans to use when he lures Tony into the water in the future. Which department is the person you want in? Tony walked back to the desk and put his contract in the drawer. I don't know. Lu Yu scratched his head and answered simply. But I know her name, it's Zhao Helen. Biological laboratory. Tony instantly guessed what Lu Yu wanted to do. I can help you contact Helen Zhao, but I can't guarantee that she will follow you. She is not my employee. As long as I can get in touch with her. Lu Yu stood up, straightened his clothes, and said with confidence, so far, there is no one I can't convince. You look like you have everything under control. Tony hugged his arms and said with a disgusted expression, it's really annoying. Just arrange a meeting between Helen Zhao and me. Lu Yu ignored Tony's sarcasm. He glanced at Tony with a meaningful look in his eyes, drank the wine in the glass in one gulp, and walked towards the door of the office. One day you will find that I am indeed in control of everything. Leaving behind a meaningful word, Lu Yu left Tony's office. After coming out of Stark Building, Lu Yu did not choose to go home immediately. Instead, he drove his CEO car with a bumpy roof towards the headquarters of Osborne Industries. Tony has agreed to help Lu Yu set up a cutting-edge laboratory, and will soon arrange for him to meet with Zhao Hailun. By then, Lu Yu is at least 90% sure that he can convince Zhao Hailun to work in his laboratory. The director of S.H.I.E.L.D. will also come to Lu Yu next week. Lu Yu is also confident that he can obtain massive resources from S.H.I.E.L.D. Just wait for Deadpool to capture Mystique, and the cutting-edge laboratory can be established as quickly as possible with the support of the Stark Group. Lu Yu never doubted whether Deadpool could catch Mystique. A masochist like Deadpool, whose body recovered faster than Wolverine, was the natural nemesis of a fighting expert like Mystique. As Deadpool's employer, Mystique was wary of Deadpool, but she certainly didn't expect that Deadpool would suddenly turn against her. Talking about hired killings, Lu Yu estimated that Mystique would choose to carry out the murder in an abandoned factory or sewer. As long as Mystique can't escape into the crowd, there's no reason why Deadpool can't catch Mystique. Everything is going according to plan and in an orderly manner. Lu Yu wants to take advantage of the fact that he still has plenty of time to go to Osborne Industries and obtain the information they have obtained from human research. This will greatly shorten the future research progress of the cutting-edge laboratory in this area. Lu Yu knew that the Green Goblin Norman conducted many experiments in these 10 aspects after he took full power. And he is also very interested in the Green Goblin potion from Osborne Industries. A strengthening agent that can directly create personality life. Maybe you can use it to do other things. Lu Yu entered the Osborne Industrial Building and walked straight to the front desk service point. Lu Yu revealed his identity as a shareholder. After obtaining Norman's consent, the front desk staff led Lu Yu to the door of the chairman's office. Sir, the chairman is waiting for you inside. The staff member bowed to Lu Yu and then politely withdrew. Reaching out to open the office door, Lu Yu saw a middle-aged man with some gray hair but still full of momentum, sitting in front of his desk reading a newspaper. This person is the current chairman of Osborne Industries, Norman Osborne. After taking the body-strengthening agent, Norman's body changed from a dying old man to that of a middle-aged man. Hearing the sound of opening the door, Norman put down the newspaper in his hand and said with a smile to Lu Yu who walked into the room, I didn't expect that you 1.7 are really just a young man. As you can see, I am less than 20 years old. Lu Yu spread his hands with a very helpless expression. Many people will always ask me like you do. Prince Kane, right, I'm glad to see you. Norman looked at Lu Yu with admiration. Compared to us old people, your future is limitless. I can see that you are very happy to see me. Lu Yu curled his lips and said with a joking tone, it's just that you are really not happy, finally have a chance to kill. Yet, as soon as Lu Yu said these words, Norman's smile froze on his face. The atmosphere in the air became extremely tense at this moment. The whole room was so quiet that you could even hear breathing. Do you think I'm right? Green Goblin. Sorry, I don't understand what you are talking about. After looking at Lu Yu for a while, Norman slowly stood up from his seat. You are talking about the green that has been raging in the city recently. Goblin. Why do you think I'm that kind of evil being? Norman started walking around the office, just because I don't look like a frail old man. God, I'm just a well-maintained person. That's all. While he was talking, Norman had already walked to a pendulum clock with huge amounts of money. He raised his head and looked at the beating hands above. I don't want to play a guessing game with you, Norman. Lu Yu stood at the door, holding his hands together without any movement. I came here to find you because I have something to talk to you about. Quote. Norman didn't turn his head. He still watched the pointer turn and said in a very calm and slow tone, talk about something. What do you want to talk about? I want all the biological research information from Osborne Industry, as well as the body strengthening potion that you have been secretly researching. Lu Yu said without any politeness, remember, it is information about all living things, including humans. Why? Norman spoke with a much higher pitch. He suddenly turned around. Veins popped out on his neck, and shouted at Lu Yu with a tone full of anger and inexplicable hatred. Osborne Industries is the empire I built by myself. Why do you want to take my achievements from me? I advise you to calm down. Lu Yu was not frightened by Norman's sudden outburst. Instead, he opened his eyes wide and said to Norman very sincerely, please believe me, take care of you. The Green Goblin personality, this is definitely looking out for you. For my own good. That's what they said when they persuaded me to leave the board of directors. Norman sneered, clenched his left hand into a fist, and slammed it into a corner next to the big pendulum clock. You should also accompany them. The wooden board of the desk suddenly cracked, and a large bat-shaped hang glider rose up to Chen Chen from inside. A dozen sharp thorns flashing with cold light popped out from its front end, and it roared and rushed towards Lu Yu. Taking advantage of this time, Norman pressed the hidden mechanism on the big pendulum clock and quickly took out the armor prepared in advance. Well, I'm really not suitable for persuading others. It seems to have no effect at all. At the moment when the hang glider was about to hit Lu Yu's body instantly entered an elemental state, and the dense black sand flew away in all directions. Without hitting Lu Yu, the entire front end of the hang glider was nailed directly into the wall, and the tail was spraying flames and trembling. Ha! It turns out to be mutant. Norman did not panic. The Green Goblin armor and super physical fitness on his body gave him strong confidence. Norman, who was wearing Green Goblin armor, had a sharp and harsh voice that made people's hair stand on end and a creepy feeling. I guess that you must have some support to come to me alone. Norman kept looking around, trying to find out where Lu Yu would appear next. Really? Countless black sands formed a human form behind Norman. Lu Yu said in a playful tone, it seems you are smarter than I thought. Norman heard the sound, turned around and punched himself hard in the back. Boom. His menacing fist passed through a dense patch of black sand, punching a deep hole the size of a bowl-shaped file in the wall. Do you just know how to hide? Norman under the Green Goblin personality was extremely irritable. He roared at Lu Yu, who was gathering his body again next to the gate, if you have the guts, fight me openly. Field. Punching to the flesh is what barbarians do. I am a person who is determined to be a Dharma master. Lu Yu said with a sarcastic tone, has anyone ever told you that you look like a person without civilized savages? I'm going to tear your mouth apart and let you know how scary I really am. Norman was completely angered by Lu Yu's words, roared and rushed towards Lu Yu. When he was still a few meters away from Lu Yu, Norman suddenly raised his hand, and several dazzling laser beams shot out from his gloves, hitting Lu Yu instantly. Stupid mutant, who gave you the confidence to dare to face me? Norman waved his fist. carrying all the strength of his body, and blasted towards Lu Yu's face with bursts of sizzling sounds. Go to hell and repent of your arrogance. Snapped. Norman stared in disbelief at his fist, which was easily blocked by Lu Yu's hand. How is this possible? Norman was slightly frightened. He wanted to take his hand back, but found that no matter what, his fist held by Lu Yu could not move at all. Seeing that the situation was not good, Norman quickly raised his foot and kicked Lu Yu fiercely. Call out. Lu Yu did not dodge, but withstood Norman's kick, and his body did not even sway a little. Norman's whole body trembled uncontrollably, and his eyes when he looked at Lu Yu were full of deep fear. What kind of monster are you? The failure of the attack did not make Norman look like that, mainly because he saw that several holes in Lu Yu's body shot by the powerful 677 laser beam were healing together quickly, and the blood was constantly flowing. Flow back into the wound. A very practical strategy. Lu Yu's tone was very calm, as if he was talking about something that had nothing to do with him. Gray light slowly began to shine in his eyes, which might be very useful for people like Spider-Man who have little combat experience. Quote. But it's a pity. Lu Yu's eyes kept flashing with divinity, and his voice gradually became cold and cold. It was me you met. Lu Yu's hand holding Norman's fist suddenly exerted force, and he lifted up Norman's whole body, spun him around in the air, and threw him away from the doctor. Bang! Norman's whole body was completely sunk into the wall. Broken bricks and stones flew away, and dense cracks appeared on the entire wall. Although I don't have much combat experience. Facing Norman embedded in the wall, Lu Yu put a sarcastic smile on his face, but I have absolutely powerful power. No matter what kind of machinations you pull out. In my eyes, it's just a joker's trick. It's not that I haven't seen through your poor acting skills, I'm just too lazy to stop you. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.